Do this. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Brightworks and another match of Beyond All Reason, where today we're going to be taking a look at everybody's favorite Supreme Isthmus in a match that was recently played upon it. Today, spawning is the blue team leader. Spawning is an Armada commander, and spawning right on the Navy lane right here, a commander that goes by the name of Yeskanot. Yeskanot. Going to be clocking in at 22 open skill and showing us what they've got. Yeskanot. It rhymes, so you know it must be true. All the way on the other side, spawning in the flex position here is the red commander, also Armada, XXX82. XXX82, the red commander here, going to be showing us what they've got in the flex position here. Looks like they're going to be going for bots, so maybe some frontline support, maybe some Centurion spam. Yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing that. Maybe otherwise planning to just go into Navy over here. A little bit of Navy support wouldn't be the worst idea. There's a lot of options here that I'm eager to see. Now, this replay was submitted over on the Discord channel, and it is rare that I pick up a Supreme Isthmus game. I checked just about every replay that's submitted over on that channel, so if you want the best of the best odds that your replay gets casted here on this channel, best bet is to go over to that replay submissions channel on my Discord and put it in there. That being said, if it's a Supreme Isthmus or an All the Glitters game, good luck to you, because it's rare that I pick these games. But I do feel obligated every so often to take a look at least one or two of them, because it's such a popular map, right? It's the most popular map, so it feels like it must be worth taking a look at here and there. But also, I know people like a little variety, and also, well, let's be honest here, I like a little variety, right? I have to watch at least one game a day, and oftentimes I don't. Usually it's a lot more than that, so I definitely like to mix things up a little bit here and there. So anyway, Archangel going to be the first to suffer some damage here. It's going to be Blissey, the hot pink commander, sending units across the field. Going to find some wind turbines here of the lavender commander, Archangel, and it does mean that this tick is going to find some nice value here. Yeah, wind turbines blasted apart. Nice micro on this tick, by the way. We're spreading the damage out so that the explosion kills multiple things. But we forgot to micro the tick back here so that it didn't die to the explosions. A little bit of a one micro cancels out another. One micro and one miss micro cancel out each other. And nobody is racing for the reclaim in the middle. Alright, well, easy way to improve the gameplay for just about every single one of the players on the field right about now. It's, of course, sending a resbot out to the front in order to reclaim all this metal. Nicely done by Blissey here, our American hero, clocking in at 16 open skill. Going to be showing us what they've got. Playing on the front lines here with a whole bunch of pawns to contest the metal right here. As we can see, as we can see like that, this is about 1,500, maybe a little more than that. Well, close to 1.6 thousand metal of reclaim on the front line right here. Always worth it to try and go for the contest right here. Valkyrie moving the commander forward right now, rushing the commander forward with no lab. Okay. That means a lot of metal has been overflowed. We're going to reclaim too. Okay, well, a lot of metal going to be overflowed right here by the purple commander. Okay. One of the reasons why you can't go for this is because it really doesn't take very many pawns in order to kill a commander. No D-gun here. Learner's match, ladies and gentlemen. A learner's match. There we go. No D-gun from Valkyrie. I guess not feeling like playing any bar today. Alright, that's a 3-minute and 11-second commander kill on the front line. No lab. It's not how you should play this game. Oh boy, we are off to a start of all time. That's a commander corpse lying on the ground right there, replacing some of the rocks that exploded when that commander died. But otherwise, a phenomenal start for the red team. Okay. Sometimes you gotta take it. One of the things I love, of course, about watching some of the newbies play is, of course, that you never know what might happen. Maybe they'll just throw a commander away on the front line in the first 3 minutes, and you just get to start with a T2 lab before you even have, enough energy production for it. What a unconventional game, to say the very least. Now, I do notice a little bit of share shenanigans going on back here as well. XXX82 does seem to be sharing over some resources here to the pink commander, sharing some wind turbines, meaning that we can build all this. We have a idle constructor right here, an idle bot lab. Blissey should not have idle units whatsoever. We've reclaimed thousands of metal right here. It's a wonderful play, but no follow-up. If you're going to play some sort of super aggressive play like this, it's always worth it to consider going for your follow-up play, right? In this case, Blissey should have been going for more build power, should have been going for more constructors, maybe some more resbots as well to reclaim, and e-storage, those advanced solar panels to pay all that metal down, and then maybe even going into T2. With the reclaim from both the commander and a lot of the rocks on the front line, Blissey could have probably afforded all of that, and maybe even a little bit more. Not to mention, of course, grabbing these metal extractors is super important. The geothermal would be a wonderful way to stabilize this front line. There's a lot of options available right now to the pink commander that we just don't see, largely as a lack of a follow-up plan here. Obviously, I'm being nitpicky But a lot of people have asked me, what do you do when you're ahead? When you find that situation in bar where you're ahead, how do you step it up a notch? And this is definitely a situation where the Hot Pink Commander could easily recognize, hey, I've been fed a tremendous advantage in this early game. I may as well use it to expand way beyond my enemy's potential. A couple of incisors standing idly by, and the rocket bots will be more than happy to blast them to smithereens. Yeah, if they're just going to stand out of range of the out of range of the incisors, no reason for those Rocketeers to engage. They can just fire away and move back whenever they need to. As far as the navies go, well, it's a little bit better for the southern side here, where the brown commander has some units out. The pink commander, pardon me, yellow commander, Martin Polo, trying to get those units up and running, trying to get those those vehicles, those water vehicles, the boats, that's what they're called. Trying to get those up and running here. We're going for that destroyer. No, we're not. Okay, destroyer dolphin. Okay. Really prominent composition right now for Armada players is just destroyer skater. It's just a 1-to-1 ratio of each. Tends to work out pretty nicely, actually. The skater's providing vision, but also anti-air means that you're safe from any sort of shuriken attack, and also the destroyers being a little bit cheaper, sometimes you can get them out a little quicker. That being said, the blue player could go win this game right now. Yeah, this many dolphins, that's 1,000 metal worth of dolphins, could surround this lab and kill it. You'd probably lose the dolphins, and you might lose, well, you might lose all the dolphins. It'd be worth it, though, to take out that laboratory. Obviously, 0 production is phenomenal. Rocketeers rolling their way up to the front line. This is thousands of reclaim, cries out the purple commander. I'm glad somebody made note of it. Unfortunately, we're about 6 minutes too late into the game for that. Pawn's killing the LLT right here. Oh, I'm not going to manage to kill that metal extractor. That's fortunate for Archangel, who's gone for quite a few landmines in the backline here. Now, I don't hate the landmines. They're definitely powerful, but obviously they're only a defensive unit. And when you're this far back and this far behind, this is a rough situation right now. Yeah, you can see 39,000 versus 37,000 for the total metal produced from each of these teams here. It's a 5% advantage. Easier to quantify, though. Easier to imagine as a 2,000 metal advantage for the blue team. Not a lot in the grand scheme of a game, especially if it goes to the late game. But in the early game, that is a monumental difference. Loads of reclaim available, and we do have resbots still, I do believe, for the pink commander. Maybe I'm wrong about that. Well, at the very least, we have the big resbot in pink, the commander, of course. More than happy to fire away here. Frigates engaging each other out on the high seas. Looks like the constructor ship did get shot down. That's always a wonderful pick if you can shut those constructors down, but obviously not if you lose your entire navy for it. An excellent engagement for Barf, the green commander on the high seas right now. Tackling some of these frigates. Doing an excellent job of engaging. And there's my dog, barking in the background. He just wants to say hello and wish you all a wonderful evening, a wonderful Friday evening. Well, I guess this will be going live on Saturday, won't it? A wonderful Saturday morning. Oh boy. What even to highlight next? This has definitely been a wild ride all over the place. The orange commander coming up and online with a T2 lab about 8 minutes into the game. We're getting those T2 constructors handed out right here. Looks like the tank commander received one. Looks like the hot pink commander is going to receive one. Looks like everybody's ready to step up to T2. The red commander going for T2 here as well, while also producing units. I don't mind the unit production, but you need to shut it off when you're going for those T2 mexes. They're just too valuable to pass up even a second of not constructing them. At least as long as the front line is relatively well held, that is. The Navy is well won on the northern side here. We have more than sufficient dolphins in order to win this fight. Of course, they need only engage against these destroyers and they would win. But of course, the blue player doesn't know that, right? Only has limited vision of what actually is going on over here. Can only see so much with this radar tower, but definitely sees enough. 3 moving blips indicates that we've gone for 3 units, and if it's only 3 units, you know it has to just be a couple of destroyers. Dolphins do beat destroyers in big numbers because they can get that surround bonus. They essentially all benefit from the surround. It can be very, very dangerous. However, they have to engage. Yeah, the Dolphins have to go play over there. Well, okay, we're taking a lovely little engagement right here from the destroyers. Fighting on the retreat means you get... Okay, first... Purple Commander taps out of the game at this point. You know, honestly, made it 6 more minutes into this game, despite not having a commander. Yeah, alright. That is what happens sometimes when you lose a game, or you lose your 1v1 on the front line, or more likely, you know, I wouldn't say you would lose your your front line, but maybe your teammate loses their 1v1. Maybe they end up leaving the game. You have to be careful about that so you can take over their resources when they go. Right now, it's going to be the Powder Blue Commander who is upgrading to T2 mexes, which is cool. Once these T2 mexes get up and running, and if these two go up and running as well, it does mean the Powder Blue Commander is going to be in a great spot to step forward and go ahead and capture, or go ahead and scale up to T2 production right now. The Seafoam Green Commander pumping out a whole bunch of T2 Fiends. That's going to be lovely against this massive T1 army. We do have Centurion, which trade decently against Fiends, but obviously it's only decently, right? They're a T1 means to a T2 end. Let's catch over on the left-hand side. A whole bunch of grunts shut down right here. Looks like the Destroyers help out a lot. Oh my goodness, the Blue Commander. Biding so much time right now for the Yellow Commander to get back in this game. 3 minutes ago, this fight was over. At this point, there are enough Destroyers to start one-shotting the Dolphins. If the Dolphins don't engage right now, I don't think there's a chance for them to take an efficient enough fight at this point. That's the Fiends jumping on top of the Hot Pink Commander. Nice micro right there to spare a whole bunch of them as well. That's the Commander going down and blowing up everything on the front lines with it. Oh my goodness. Clutching defeat from the jaws of victory. Probably somewhere in the title of this video, because holy, what a misplay right here from the red team. Misallocating their resources and losing it all in the front line. Not producing units when units are very, very good. This is a dangerous Navy. I'm not sure why exactly we're not actually firing, why we're not fighting here, the Blue Commander, that is. We have nearly 3.7 thousand metal worth of Dolphins just sitting idly by. For whatever reason, we're going to take the inefficient fight here with 4 Destroyers up against 5. I mean, credit where credit is due. Martin Polo is doing a phenomenal job of getting themselves back into this game. Brown forces are mainly frigates. We do have a single destroyer in here for a little bit of harassment potential. Obviously, those frigates, that's a combination of a frigate and a destroyer right there, folks. The destroyers and the frigates. The frigates are very powerful against the destroyers. They have a huge concentrated blast of damage when the frigates are firing and focused on a single target, but when they're spread out like this, they tend to fire at different targets, and that concentrated blast becomes a little bit more thinly spread. You can see right there, though, in the few engagements that we've taken so far, a lot of this has looked relatively nice. I want to see these Navy battles go on. I'm too brokenhearted about this front line. Fiends have just been patrol pathing back and forth right now, just happily waddling around, just enjoying their time right here. Res sub under the waves to eat up all the metal of the fallen boats right here for the Brown Commander. I'd love to see it. I mean, that's what we're fighting for at the end of the day, is control over this wreckage field, and the Brown Commander has done a lovely job of making sure to hold that control. Obviously, reclaiming the wreckages a little further out is top priority, but if you can manage to at least get your own wreckages, you're going to take a relatively efficient fight. You can, anyways, take a relatively efficient fight. We're slowly getting there. Yeah, Zedoxis not really out of this yet. The destroyers are low HP, and I think one of them's about to go down here. Down it goes with some wonderful concentrated firepower right here from the Green Commander Barf, but of course, once these units regroup, and if those res subs manage to eat up that corpse, I think this is going to be definitely playable here for the Brown Commander. It's on a slippery slope, and we're sliding backwards, but this is the kind of trade you need to come back into it. Yeah, firing away at the frigates, firing away at the stragglers, trying to pick off as many of these units as possible, scratch them down to the point that you can officially finish them off. Claiming these metal extractors over here is always lovely as well. Oh, they removed one. Interesting. Can you tell how much I play All That Glitters in Supreme Isthmus? It's virtually 0. Oh my goodness. Don't tell me. Okay, well, some beautiful volleys right there from the yellow player who has radar towers and whatnot in order to fire away at this clump of units, and because the units are all clumped up, obviously the radar signatures don't really matter. They're all going to equalize towards basically the middle of all those units. Why are we so timid? I can't figure out why Yeskanot is so shy about sending units forward. It's also puzzling to see that we're still on T1 right here. This is a massive misplay from the entirety of the blue team. Whoever's gone T2, anyone with a T2 lab should be handing a T2 constructor to the Blue Commander at this point. It's far too late to be worried about who paid and who didn't. It's time to get generous. It's time to help your team out. It's time to pump some of those T2 cons out and make sure that your team is going up to T2. That is absolutely priority numero uno. I mean, I like it for the Brown Commander. Yeah, we're taking a wonderful engagement here. Clipping off the sides of this force right now, trying to poke those frigates down from out of range. It really is exactly what we're looking for. Now, you do have to be careful, obviously. Fighting into a retreating army is going to be a huge disadvantage for the Brown Commander, so he doesn't really want to fight this head-on. Essentially wants to engage and then pull back, pulling this army out and then engaging against its navy, rather. That's the ideal circumstance, and we're sort of getting there, but a lot of boats have gone down, and I think eventually it's just a numbers game. There's so many destroyers available. That is a grand 12 destroyers here for the Green Commander, and there's really just nothing you can do at this point because even the destroyer snowball is enough to kill other destroyers. Red subs running away for their lives. Zedox is moving in on the right-hand side. Well, if ever there was a way to come back into a Navy game, I suppose not being attacked is one of them. Yeah. I mean, it works. It definitely works. The Yellow Commander apparently feeling comfortable enough to even go for a fusion reactor here. Planning a fusion reactor and a T2 lab is ambitious, to say the very least. But once that fusion reactor is up and running, it is going to pump out quite a lot of energy, which is going to easily be converted by all the T1 energy converters available here. And going for one of those T2 AGOs wouldn't be the end of the world either, definitely helping scale that yellow economy. So far, that's one of the reasons why the yellow player is so far ahead right now, pulling, or well, not ahead, but pulling into the lead, is, yeah, because they've gone for that T2 economy, essentially 4 times the economy right here of the blue commander. Okay, well, res subs on the front line getting caught by the depth charges right now is always nice to see. Destroyer is out on the front here as well. Always a bit of a risky situation when the destroyer comes out to play. But a direct detonation underneath all these destroyers could certainly knock quite a few of them out of the park right now. We do have enough energy to permanently cloak right here, so this destroyer, the tank commander, Zedoxis, is going to move the commander in. Ooh, we're headed for the laboratories. Brown commander looking to move in, try and get some damage done against the base, I suppose. Not a bad idea whatsoever. A complete stalemate on the front lines. We have hounds, all the T2 needed in order to poke all this down, but I suppose the gauntlets are too terrifying, too devastating to push into. Oh, there is a persecutor there. Okay, the persecutor makes a better argument for such a case, but to say the very least, this front line has become about as stagnant as a front line could possibly be. I'm not sure what these are firing at. Maybe a stray res sub or two. Wow, okay, hold on. I see the play here. Yeah. Zedox is headed directly towards the laboratories right here. Barf planning to win this fight by going up to T2. Zedox is right on time. Oh no. Buccaneer coming out of the laboratory right now. Zedox is moving in for the kill. We'll go ahead and scan around, but really, a whopping nothing happening. I can't stand games with nothing happening. As a commentator, as an enjoyer of the sport, it pains me to see. Okay, Zedox is accidentally leaving the attack fire on. Although he's on hold fire, so there's really no explanation why this commander is doing this. Uh-oh. Oh, no. Brutal D-gun from the brown commander, who manages to clip the T2 lab of the green commander as well as the constructor. Means that no T2 units are coming out, and 3,200 metal is directly down the drain. Wow. What a play. I mean, talk about comeback mechanics. There's one of them, the commander's D-gun, managing to haul away metal. Beautifully done right there by Zedoxis, doing a wonderful job. Yeah, commander trying to find some value here in its last fleeting moments. Yep, nice micro right here. Zedoxis definitely aware that as soon as this commander is spotted, it's going to be GG. Trying to keep it as cloaked as possible, making sure those depth charges don't hit. Oh my goodness. The Green Navy torn now between finding the commander and engaging the force over here. Uh-oh. Are we paying attention? Oh, commander goes down. Nice commander explosion. Doesn't kill any of the destroyers, but definitely softens up quite a few of them. 2 more of them go down immediately as soon as these fleets engage, but what a beautiful play. De-gunning down the laboratory and then managing to blow up the commander to soften up some of those units as well. If we get res subs underneath all this, this is a decent time right here for the brown commander. And indeed, we do have a res sub here to eat up all this metal. Going to prioritize the commander wreck before anything else, but we have reinforcements coming out here as well. Persecutors in mass right now. Okay, well, this front line is never going to go anywhere because these persecutor cannons are here, but at the very least, we have something to watch over the Navy field. I love that play right there from Zedoxis. Definitely a beautiful move. I can't believe we went all the way to T2 over here on the left-hand side, by the way. We're going into Paladins at this point. The T2 cruiser boats, they have a Gauss cannon, 2 laser... Those are laser cannons, not anti-air cannons. No idea why they're shaped like that. They're the only laser gun in the game for Armada that looks like that, as far as I'm aware anyways. They also have 2 depth charge launchers, which fire, of course, those seeking depth charges. Oh, Navy standing still right here in the midst of tremor fire, going to be suffering immense casualties as the tremor brutalizes anything standing in its gigantic field of fire. You can see just a ginormous field here that the tremor has access to. Yeah, okay, there we go. Persecutor's finally firing forward. It looks like we didn't have a spy bot or any kind of vision over here, but finally we do. Oh, it was a Juno. A Juno connected over here to pop the radar tower, or the jammer tower, pardon me. Now it means the Persecutors can fire away, but my goodness, I can't help but point out that, of course, this is 6 Persecutors, 15,000 metal worth of T2 static defense that effectively can't find value because it's just barely out of range right here. Now you can leapfrog these, of course. You could set up more Persecutors in a line right here, and then eat the ones back here, and then another line here, and then eat these ones, right? You can jump them forward like that. Sometimes that can work. Sometimes that can be very risky. When it works, it does feel quite good, though. Whoa, the advanced torpedo launcher is doing a great job cutting apart these T1 boats. Sawing those boats down brutally. A cool 4,000 metal worth of T2 torpedo launchers, but at the very least, locking down this coast completely. They're the perfect support for this Dreadnought battleship, which has no anti-submarine capabilities. The Brown Navy is gone, excuse me. The Brown Navy is no more. An ambitious res sub, but unable to really get much value out here. The T2 Navy is, however, underway, so the Brown Commander making up the difference right now by going into T2, trying to upgrade those T2 metal extractors, or upgrade the mexes to T2. So many unupgraded metal extractors. Please, please. Hands clasped together. Oh, we're missing a battle over here. Pardon me. Sorry. Hands clasped together, please. I'm begging and screaming, pleading and crying for you to upgrade your T2 metal extractors. It really is what wins games. The humble dolphin on a fight command here, taking a really inefficient fight. These should definitely be moving forward and surrounding. At the end of the day, there's just so many of them that it's not going to matter, but this could have been slightly more efficient here. Slight efficiencies are where it all adds up. Eventually, the T2 being overwhelmed by the power, the sheer power of the Dolphin. My goodness, if this Dreadnought battleship isn't finding some value right now. The AoE on that attack is immense. Yeah, taking down just about all the Dolphin with it, but still managing to ravage the fleet right here of the Yellow Commander. Not bad whatsoever. Tremors are now firing away, but they've been forced back right here by a Rattlesnake cannon. Looks like the front lines are about ready to try fighting. And these are T2 boats rolling out. We also have the jammer ship, which of course means that these boats can fire away from within jammer coverage, means that they won't be able to be targeted here by the green boats. They'll just essentially see nothing in the fog of war. Persecutor cannons probably doing more friendly fire damage to these units than really anything else. Geothermal plasma battery as well, firing into the friendly units. And the Despot battleship has now reached a point where it can start engaging. Firing away triple bursts of high-impact Gauss cannon, super condensed matter cannon, firing little projectile pellets of condensed matter that explode immediately and chain react into an explosive projectile. Perfect for taking out armored and lightly armored vehicles. Boats definitely count in that category. How about T2 heavy tanks? I'm always happy to see them. Tiger's, of course, one of those units that are dangerous for only the fact that they have a lot of HP. They don't do a huge amount of damage. They don't really have very much movement speed. They're kind of A tier, maybe B tier on all respects, except for the fact that they are just extremely difficult to kill, at least relative to the price you pay for them. However, once you kill them, there's a huge reclaim field going to be available right now, and my goodness, with the Despots doing huge work over here on the Green Navy. I can't believe it. The Brown Navy has managed to come back with a crazy resurgence right now. The Despots firing their heavy lasers and their Gauss cannons and all the rest of it and blasting down these boats with ruthless, ruthless efficiency. I mean, maybe about as good of a trade as you could ever hope to get. A lot of these boats resurrected here, so it is sufficient to say that this was a decent trade for the Green Commander. At the very least, these units weren't paid for in that respect. But there's not a lot these destroyers can do at this point. We also have some of the Brimstones coming out here, the flame-throwing anti-swarm ships. They're kind of a weird boat. I haven't really found a great use case for them. They're awesome. They're extremely epic. They're just a bit of a strange one. They don't have a lot of really particular use case, I find. Typically, by the time that you can make them, you're already well enough ahead and an advantage that you don't really need them. They're essentially a great T2 versus T1 option, but only against things like frigates or gunboats or dolphins, skaters, lighter boats, essentially. Marauder push right here from the Orange Commander. Glad to see that we had a goal in mind right here. Sort of the opposite of what we're seeing from Warp right now, who's producing so many T2 units, but you can see how big a difference that means right here. The Seafoam Green Commander went into production in order to save the front line, but the Orange Commander had time to go up to double APHIS, triple fusion in order to pump out a whole bunch of Marauder. And there you go. You can see a massive stream of Marauder pushing their way across the map and into the enemy backline. At this point, a couple of APHIS is in trouble. Czar's trying to fire away here at the Marauder. Nice micro-stepping from the Orange Commander, trying to distract from as much damage here as possible. But boom, go the APHIS. Nicely done as the Powder Blue base goes up in smoke and the Marauder seal the deal on the right-hand side. Taking out Barf's economy as well means no longer shall reinforcements come up. These are completely east... Oh, they're not east-stalled at all, actually. Okay. No east-stall on the res subs, but we're definitely low on funds. 2 metal per second. Not going to be quite enough to fund one of those T2 navies. Rattlesnakes firing off into the distance here, trying to blast away at any of these units that they can. The longbows have more than enough range to outrange those rattlesnakes. That's essentially their role as its anti-static defense. Now the fighters move in. Bombers included as well. Some bombers, anyway. The Dreadnought's in trouble. The Rattlesnakes, I mean, they're doing good work. I can't really fault them. They're definitely trying their very best. Barf D gunning down a couple of those Marauder here, but not enough to save his team. Warp managing to kill one of the Marauder in the backline here as well. Nearly killed the Advanced Fusion Reactor construction progress right there. 3% remaining on that, but do we have enough to stop this next wave coming in? I don't think so. Bombers here looking for targets. The geothermal will be neglected as it's just a T1 geothermal, and instead we're going to go for some of those slightly juicier targets right here. Marauder, for whatever reason, not moving forward. Warp D gunning down one of them. Gets a catch on one of those Marauder. Nicely done. Bulwark here trying to clean up as a lot of these as well. But here come the heavy bombers. Boom goes the base right there of Warp. As the APHIS falls, the Bulwark will run shy of energy. And no longer will there be power to keep this commander cloaked either. Warp runs out of juice, and it means the Marauder have exposed the commander. Bulwark here, largely without power to fire. Suddenly, the blue team have found themselves in a terrible position. Burtic 2023, now one of the few remaining commander here for the blue forces. Bombers solving that issue immediately, though. A nice play from the Orange Commander. Definitely very, I want to say, stock standard, right? This is sort of the standard that we've seen a lot on this map. Going for that big Marauder push can be a devastating timing attack. We've seen it come through this lane here as well, kind of running up this shoreline and into the, running up this shoreline and into the back line here. Never entirely convinced about that play, though, because if there's enough static defense, or, of course, just a bunch of heavy landmines along this coast, oftentimes you can shut down that entire play before you've even really done much work at all. Bombers here not managing to pop the build power means the blue base will remain intact, at least for the time being. The Marauder here trying to solve that issue, though. There they go. Flooding into the back line and popping a whole bunch of wind turbines. Every wind turbine that goes down is a significant hit to the economy. I mean, this is 19 wind speed we're talking about, and it looks like the blue team agrees. 28 minutes into this game, and we're going to be calling our resign vote. Burtic 2023, the green commander, calling the vote right here. Apparently we've got some hope. Some hope in the chat. I don't see it. No Amphib Lab transition right here from the blue player might have been the crux to bring this game back, but without it, it means that there's really no way for the blue commander to assault this line over here. Went into so many of these missile boats. However, paid for it, of course, with a delayed capital ship. Almost about to come out right here, but what good will it do if your team is already dead? The price you pay for going for T3 is, of course, that it takes forever to build. Unlike Marauder, of course, which are T3, but take about 20 seconds to build. 970 metal for one of those bad boys, just barely more than a bull tank. It means, of course, that they're going to be wildly efficient at managing to bypass a lot of defenses because you can get them out on the front lines of the field super, super quickly. The blue team reduced to a single commander and its Archangel right about here. I'm going to go ahead and speed this game up, though, because I do believe we are headed for a very decisive victory. Yeah, Archangel's sprinting forward right now, and I think we're headed towards our finale. Boom goes the final commander right there of the blue team, and indeed it'll be the red who managed to pull their way back from the brink of destruction in this game of Beyond All Reason. An excellent Marauder push and a very clever little play on the right-hand side, de-gunning down the laboratory to save the day on the high seas. Very nicely done. Thanks a ton for watching. Consider subscribing and joining up on the Brightworks Discord. Link, of course, down below for both. And I hope to see you in the very next cast of Beyond All Reason. Peace out and have a lovely rest of your day, everybody.